Hello, and welcome to Functional Skills Maths. The topic that we're looking at today is averages, and in particular, we're going to be looking at median and mode, both of which are on the level 2 syllabus. So I'm just going to share my screen with you now. Okay. So the criteria points on the syllabus are point 23 and point 25. And as I say, it's these two different types of average that we're looking at. Why do we need them? You might ask. If we've already got the mean, then why do we need any other types of average? And it may well be because sometimes there is a problem with using the mean. If we have a look at this set of numbers here, for instance, we've got 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 100. Now, if we work out the average of this set of numbers based on the mean, we would find that our average number is 22. But that's a little bit problematic because that large number is distorted what is perhaps a more true reflection. If, for example, let's put this into some sort of context. If we said that this was the amount of money spent by people in a newsagent one Friday afternoon. First person spent £1, second person spent £2, third person spent £3, and so on. And if we worked out the mean, you might say that the average person spent £22. Well, if you look at most of them, though, nobody spent anywhere near that. I mean, it was only one person that actually spent more than a fiver. So it's a bit untrue to say that the average person spent £22. But this is what the mean would tell us. So sometimes we need another type of average that allows us to get rid of some of these sort of distorted numbers, some of these extremely large or indeed extremely small numbers. So what we do is we go to the median average. And for working out the median, what we look to do is find the middle number, essentially. So firstly, we need to order them from smallest to largest. And then once we've done that, we can tick off the numbers from each end until we find the middle number. So here we have a random set of numbers, all jumbled up, no particular order. To find the median, what we do is put them in order, first of all, like this. So the smallest to start with, working all the way up to the largest. And then from there, we can then start crossing the numbers off on each end of sort of, here's what I did earlier. And whatever number is left in the middle, which in this case is 5, is the median. So we cross one off at a time. So if we're doing this, we cross off the 1, then we go to the other end, cross off the 9, go back to the beginning, cross off the 3, go back to the other end, cross off the 7. So like that, we'd gradually work our way down until we found what the middle number is. And that number is our median, which in some cases, as in the chip shop example we looked at previously, would be a much better average to use. Indeed, if the numbers from the chip shop were true, 1, 2, 3, 4, 100, then our median would be 3, which seems much more fair to say. I think the average person spent £3 in the newsagent rather than £22. We've got 3 examples for you here to practice with. So I'm going to stop speaking and you can press pause. So remember, the first thing is line them all up in order from smallest to largest, and then cross off the numbers from each end one at a time until you work your way down into the middle. Okay, away you go, and we'll run through the answers shortly. Okay, how did you do? The answer for A is 6, B is 11, and for C is 50. Did you get that? If not, then perhaps just press pause again and just try and work that through again. Sometimes it's a little bit strange when we first start this, but a little bit of practice and it soon tends to sort itself out. Okay, let's move on. If we were to look at this example and apply the same process, which we will do, we'd find that we come to a bit of a sticking point, because actually, once we've done that, we find that there are two middle numbers. So we rearrange it like so, cross off the numbers for each end. We find that in the middle, we have the numbers 4 and 6. There's two middle numbers. And the reason for this is because we have an even set of numbers to start with. And if we have that, we are always going to end up with two numbers in the middle. So what we do when we come to this situation is we just add them up together and then divide it by 2. So we find the middle of the middle numbers. So for instance, 4 plus 6 and then divided by 2. So 4 plus 6 is 10, divided by 2 is 5. So that's how we would work out the median with an even set of numbers. So have a look at this example here and see if you can work that out. We'll just stop again and you can press pause. We'll run through the answer shortly. Okay, and then have a look at this one as well. Okay, so the answer for D is 9.5 when you put the two middle numbers together. 9 and 10, 19 divided by 2 is 9.5. And then E, middle number is 6. 5 plus 7 is 12 divided by 2 gives us the 6. Okay, very good. That is how we approach the median. Good thing about it, as we said at the beginning, is it eliminates the extreme numbers. It eliminates the outliers, and it allows us to get rid of the distortions. The only thing is that sometimes we want to use the average to spot a pattern, and the median doesn't help with this, nor does the mean. So it's at this point we can think about a third type of average, which is called the mode. Now, the mode is essentially the most common number, the most common number that reoccurs, the number that appears most often. So we have a set of numbers, for example, and if we just read through those, what we're looking for is the number that appears the most times. And we see that the number 2 appears 3, 4 times. And so the number 2 is the mode of this set of data. Sometimes, if you want to, you can start off a bit like the median and just put them in order, because then you might find it really easy to spot the numbers as you're going through doing this. And once you've done that, again, you can just circle them, and you see that 2 is the biggest grouping. So that's another way of finding out the mode. Sometimes you might find it easier to do it that way. But essentially, you're looking for the number that appears the most times. That is the mode. Now, here's 5 examples for you here. Be aware, sometimes you can have multiple modes where there's not just one number that appears the most times, but maybe 2 or perhaps 3. Sometimes you might look at a set of numbers and they might all appear as much as each other, in which case we'd say that there's no mode. So consider those two things. I'm just going to give you some time to work through these. I'm going to pause for 10 seconds, but you can press pause for a lot longer and just spend the time to work out the mode for each of these, and then we'll run through the answers shortly. Okay. Okay, so the mode for A, apologies about the order, is 5. The mode for B, in fact, there's 2 modes, it's 34 and 41. Mode for C is non-existent because there is no mode. They all appear the same amount of times. Modes for D is 28 and 31. So again, multiple modes. And then for E, the mode is 30 because that appears the most times. The mode could be used, for instance, and is used by retailers when they want to know what the most common thing is that they're selling. Shoe sizes, for instance, are a very good one where we can use the mode. If we were to use the mean, for instance, we might end up with a kind of decimal in our answer. You know, the shopkeeper adds up all the size 7, size 8, size 10, size 12, size 3s, adds them together. You might end up with an answer like 6.7253 or something, which doesn't really help. If what shoe size did I sell the most of? 6.725. Well, hang on, I don't have any shoes in 6.725 size. So you know what I mean? That's where the mean could be not very helpful. And the mode would be more popular, or more useful to use to tell us what the most popular thing is. So that's why it's used when the most common item is required. So in summary, the median is the middle value. Once we've lined the numbers up in order from smallest to largest, and it's very useful for getting rid of those outliers, those distortions that the mean can sometimes bring. And the mode is the most common value when we're looking for what the most popular item is. Hopefully that's okay for you. Perhaps take another look through the video if you're not sure about some of those points. But if you have any queries or questions, then please contact either myself or your tutor, and we'll be happy to help. Take care for now.